Hello, 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 and welcome to the Lifestyle Show. It is the 1st of November, Pinch Punch, first day of the month, although you meant to do it before 12 noon. Never mind, I do my own thing. How have you all been? Hope you've had a very interesting week. As we came to the back of the week, we've just been, given some news. The nation in England has been given some news, and we're going to be talking about that just in a wee bit. I just want to thank you all for joining us today, and we've got a great lineup again. We are going to be talking some issues. Some of it's going to be, rather serious and rather deep. We've also got lighter issues to talk about. We've got to keep it light as well. We've got to smile. We've got to continue to smile through it all. So keeping in line with government, social distancing, they're giving us guidance. We're doing it. We're here. Welcome to my humble abode. And you're all very much welcome. Now, you can interact with us. You can send us your comments through as we are doing this live. Send us some comments through, anything you want to discuss, and particularly about some of the guests we have on, if you want to make your voices heard. And you can do that several ways. The YouTube live, and that's Lifestyle Show TV. You've got the Instagram Lifestyle TV Show. And you've also got the Facebook page, which is Lifestyle on Ben, B-E-N, Lifestyle on Ben. Or simply email us, lifestyleonben, or one word, lifestyleonben@hotmail.co.uk. And let's keep it all ticking, and let's keep it all rocking and rolling. And with that, you know what I'm going to say, the Dark Persuader, it has to be the one and only Anthony Jordan. Hello, Squire.
Hey, Pam. Hey, how you doing?
How are you? I'm doing all right.
I'm good. Yesterday hit me with a bit of bad news, which I know you're going to bring up. Well, double fold, actually, because you also mentioned the whole in keeping in line with government rules. And once again, when we thought we were closer to being in studio and back together again, we were told you got till Thursday to enjoy your outdoor life.
And stay at home.
That's the one.
Oh, my gosh. It hits us again. I mean, okay, people will argue about it and say that, well, it has to be done because the numbers are rising and we're in the hundreds again with deaths on a daily toll. Quay in the hundreds, we've got 200 odd, 300 odd every day. 55,000 people a day are being diagnosed with the virus. Something's got to give. Something had to give. So I guess, what can I say, Anthony? We don't like it. We don't want it. Something had to give.
Listen, safety first. So if this is what it has to be, this is what it has to be. Even if it saves just but 100, it's 100 saves. So let's go with what we can. Even if it's one, we're doing something to try and.
I think so. I think we have to look at it like that. So, but we have got a lineup today. We were going to be talking a bit serious about a report recently commissioned by the Labour government, and the findings have been released. And we're going to be touching on that as well. We're going to be talking to a lady who's rather creative through this COVID period. And we all know about the masks. We know about wearing them on London transport. We have to do it. And even, when we go to the shops, we have to do that even more so now.
Indeed.
So we've got a lady that's going to be talking to us. This is Caribbean style-y. I'm going to have to say that. So that's a little hint, Caribbean style-y. Yeah, this is all good. You're quite hot in your section. I understand.
It can be somewhat. It's everywhere, isn't it? So what can we say? It is what it is.
And going on to your corner,
in that sense, sorry.
The entertainment corner. That's what I mean by hot.
In terms of entertainment corner, yes, we have a couple of artists in there today. A bit more of the entertainment. It's going to be a fun one. So some legendary names, some up and coming names who will be making that mark, and our future legends, as I'd like to call it. So it's going to be a big one. It's going to be.
I can't wait for that. I really can't. All right. So what we're going to do. I'll just quickly say this, Anthony. I have to talk a bit about Sean Connery, my favourite of all times, and we've lost him. We lost him, and we lost him on the 31st of October. He died peacefully in his home, with his family surrounding him.
Yeah. What can I say? Sean Connery, one of the greats. Bond for sure. He brought Bond to the big screen for sure. That's what he was. I was just about to say Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. He was absolutely legendary in that. October. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which was his last film. Sadly, the reviews weren't great, but he still came out. You know, he said that was his last film. But when I heard the news, I was like, "What a great has gone!" But you know what?
But give it what it is. 90 years old.
I know this is it.
Oh.
He had a good innings, as they say. He had a good
Yeah.
innings, delivered, and yeah, sadly gone, never forgotten. But he had a good life. He had a good one.
Yeah, yeah. He died in Nassau, Bahamas, and actually Thunderball was filmed there, was it not?
Ooh, you may have got me. I think you're right then.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah, and imagine that. That's where he had his home. His son, Jason, many of you can remember Jason Connery. He did Robin Hood for a little while and in other films as well. But he said it's a sad day for all who knew and loved my dad, and a sad loss for all people around the world who enjoyed the wonderful gift he had as an actor. And he went on to say that, you know, we're all missing him, but we were able to get many of the family members there before he slipped away. So that was something in itself. His publicist has said, Nancy Salter said that there'll be a private ceremony followed by a memorial that's yet to be planned. And they're looking at it as, you know, let's let this pandemic calm down. So don't look for anything yet and leave the family to their grief, please. So Sean leaves behind his wife, Micheline, and sons, Jason and Stefan. And we have to say, may he rest in eternal peace.
Indeed.
Sean Connery.
Greatly missed.
Okay, to that we then say ta-da to you, not ta-da.
Before I do go, can I just get that logo thrown up very quickly because I want everyone to pay attention.
Yes.
From here on, Dalgety Teas, do any time from now, anything you hear could be a question for you to win that fantastic hamper courtesy of Dalgety Teas. It's a packed show. I know there's a guest waiting, so I'm out. See ya.
Thank you very much. Just quickie news items here, just very quickly. I have to say the 17-year-old a former footballer has died. Jeremy Whiston died last Sunday, which would have been the 25th of October. Now, there are some reports that suggest that he may have taken his own life. That's not been confirmed. There's tributes galore being poured out for this young fellow. He was, as I said, a former youth player at English Premier League side Manchester City. He was Malawi born, but he came here very young with his parents, and he joined City's elite youth squads in 2016. The Manchester City family are saddened to learn of the passing of their former academy player, and they send their deepest condolences to his friends and family, and their thoughts are with them at this difficult time. The cause of Whiston's death, as I said, is unknown at this stage, but as I said, we'll find out more a bit later on. England international footballer Raheem Sterling has been quoted as saying that, you know, it's just a sad time. It's horrible news. Rest in peace, young man. England's Football Association has said, rest in peace, Jeremy, while former Manchester City player Trevor Sinclair has written, rest in peace, Jeremy. As I've said before, we really need to take care of our youngest generation during this so very difficult COVID-19 era. Condolences to the family and friends. We at the Lifestyle team would like to send out our heartfelt condolences to the family and friends at this tragic time. Right. We go from talking a little bit sad news. Let's celebrate other things as well. So we're going to talk to one of our legendary guests here. And when I say that, I mean that, oh, so sincerely. We had him on at the first beginning in 2006 when we first launched, and still going big guns. And he's the chap that gives you all those glossy, lovely, lovely Caribbean books and African books as well, and all sorts of things. He goes by the name of Arif Ali, and he's the CEO of Hansib Publications. How are you, my dear sir?
I'm very fine, thank you very much.
Welcome to my humble abode.
Thank you very much.
I said you were one of the first guests. Oh, thank you. I tell you, you're one of the first guests, Arif. This is back in 2006 when we first launched, and it's so great and wonderful to have you back on. You did come in between, but you were there at the very beginning for us, and you gave us that support. You always gave us that support, and you're still supporting us now. But let's talk a bit about yourself, Arif. You are the CEO of Hansib Publications. Now, Hansib is part of your mum and dad's name, isn't it?
Yes, when we launched the company 50 years ago, we decided to use the names my mother and father used to call one another. Han, which is Hanif, and Sib, which is Sibi. So Pa always called Ma Sib, and Ma always called Pa Han. So I thought it was a good gesture to leave that behind for them.
Okay, yes, you did. You honoured them. You honoured them so much, because Hansip Publication has been absolutely a triumphant story. Let's go back from the beginning, and I can give you the platform if you will. But let's talk about this. You're Guyanese born, yeah?
Guyana born, yes.
Yes, and you know, what made you go into publication? Because that's not how you started off when you came to England.
No, I worked as a porter in a hospital, and then as a bus conductor and a bus driver. And then I worked for myself selling encyclopedia, tea bags, sort of things like mango pickles and that sort of thing. And one of the shops I used to supply pickles to told me they were closing down. So I bought their premises. I sort of had I had no money. I just bought it without any money. I came to an agreement with the owner to pay them over 3 years, which I did. And after that, I sold the shop and went into publishing.
Yeah. Was it New Beacon Books that you started in 1966?
No, I had nothing to do with Beacon Books. That was run by John LaRose and Sarah. They were in Finsbury Park, and we were in Tottenham Lane, near to Crouch End Broadway. So I knew of them, but the shop wasn't there in those days. Eventually they got there, but then we moved to Finsbury Park, Fonthill Road, where we had our newspapers and our magazines and eventually our books.
Eventually the books. So from the, let's put it like this then, Arif, talk to me about this. From the newspapers and magazines to books, that transition, what made you think, well, let me go into books?
We were a campaigning organization, and we campaigned so that we can have representation. When we started, you didn't have MPs, and local authorities didn't have councillors. So over the years, we encouraged those of members of our community, which included people like Vaz and Grant. We supported Abbott and Boateng before they got into Parliament in fundraising, in editorial matters, and so on. So the organization that we had was the only one in the country that had a sort of a readership, because most time when Bernie, as he rightly says, he said, when I'm speaking, I'll probably be speaking for about 10 people or maybe 100 people. He said, but when you write something in the newspapers, hundreds, if not thousands, reads it. So on that basis, we were able to put out sort of difficulties within the community in an area where it was more respected in the British society, because Britain has got quite, the British people have always respected matters that are printed. And our newspaper, albeit radical, was accepted. We had national distribution, which we fought for. We had journalists being trained, people in editorial, people in advertising, people in distribution. So we virtually set up an organization using the several areas of publishing within our own organization. We distributed our own papers, we tout for our own advertising, we trained our own journalists, and even though we ourselves were ill-trained, we got on, and we built hundreds of people worked for us. Many of them to this day are in television, Fleet Street, United States, CNN, so they have moved on. So it was a good stepping stone for members of our community who had ideas in their head, who wanted to write for a newspaper or a magazine, and eventually who wanted to write books. So we evolved gradually over the years, and we're here where we are today.
We are here where we are today. Let's talk about Hansip, and let's talk about some of the books. I mean, I know for me, when I knew about Hansip, it was because of the Caribbean islands and the books that were focused on particular islands. And that's how I really, really knew about Hansip. So I'm just going to do a flash thing here, Arif, and let's sort of like gravitate to talking a little bit about things as we look at them. So let's see the first cover. I don't know, randomly, we're going to pick something for you. And let's sort of talk about that. Before Windrush, West Indians in Britain. Now, let's talk a bit about that. This was an important book to be published, was it not?
Yes, it came out a few days ago or a few weeks ago, and it reflects on people of West Indian background who have achieved and who were not put out in an arena where they were easily sort of, about them was not easily accessible.
Yes.
If you're a researcher, yes. But now we have put it in a simple book, which has been sold for about £10, and it's available. I think it has about 10 people of prominence.
Yeah, this is good educational tools, is it not? For the young people.
It is, but we hope eventually, maybe not in my lifetime, but these books will eventually get into the system, as some of them are in the Caribbean. We have our books in the Caribbean, which have been used for what over here we call it GCSE. Over there they call it, I think, CSE. And our books have been used as compulsory reading for literature, some of our titles in the Caribbean islands.
Excellent.
So we've already broken into that market, but we need to break into that market in this country, where some of our books are being read not only by children of minority background, but by the general public.
Yes.
So they can be informed, and so get into their brains the achievement of people who are not white.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So never said with that one. Let's look at another one. So let's look at Black identity in the 20th century. Very important book as well.
Well, again, it's along the same line, different author, different ideas, but it also promotes the identity, the achievement, the ability of people of non-European background. You see, the Europeans have not over the people of African and Asian background. And when I say Asian, I mean Indians, Chinese, and other people in those areas. And when I say African, I mean people from the continent, people of African West Indian background, people of African American background. They have never been promoted along the same lines as other people in their achievement. So, albeit very small, we have opened that door. And today you have many publishers who are seeing Black authors as able to produce good documents. And that doesn't only happen in the UK, but because of our connection in the United States, we have been able to maybe influence, I would like to say influence, but maybe encourage people over there to take on, because over the years, I have been invited several times by organizations in the United States to make presentation, which incidentally, a little bit of a boast here, including the Library of Congress. I was given an opportunity some years ago to address 51 teachers from all the states in America at the Library of Congress. So that was quite an interesting opportunity. And it gave me an opportunity, as one of the teachers said, that he never knew that this sort of thing happens in the world on the topic we were talking.
There you go.
You know, so some of the things you get an opportunity to do that makes you very proud that you had that opportunity. You don't really know how much influence you have after that. But what I do know, that when we started, you had no Black publishing in this country.
That's right.
You had no Black magazine. You had no Black newspapers. You had one or two attempts that were made, which came out for 2 or 3 weeks. But since we started publish in April 1970, but our first publication came out in April 1971, we have not ceased. So this 50 years of publishing has been, I can say, I can't use the word continuous, but I can say continual. Because continuous, as you know, is water is a continuous flow. Continual is that you print every week or every month. But we have been publishing all along over the years, and we continue to publish. As I speak to you, there are books coming out. In fact, one of the books that you've quoted has not even been in the marketplace yet.
Ah,
it's only just come out. It
the
hasn't got.
first one. Okay, that's right. Well, okay, I'm going to do one more. So I'm going to go back. So we can do a Caribbean island, and also pick whichever one you want, because I know which one I like. But anyway, also let's look at Jamaica. Absolutely. Now, this is a fantastic book. I remember, this was so popular. I mean, my gosh, this is like filled up with illustrations and images and a historical, talking within this big volume. That's quite a huge book, actually. People might not recognize the fact that looking at the front cover, it's quite a thick book, isn't it? Arif, how did you feel about doing this one?
Well, the title, in fact, I must pay a tribute to my son-in-law, who have organized all of this today, and thank him very much. But
Richard?
Richard Painter. He's married to my older daughter.
Yes.
And my son, Cash Ali. They have worked on all these projects that we have had over the years. And without them, I would have found it, if not impossible, at least very difficult, because I have been supported fully by them. But moving on to Jamaica, absolutely. The title is one of the most beautiful titles I've had on our Nation series book. And this title was given to me by a dear friend of mine and a member of my team, Ken Campbell. He's of Jamaican background, but one of the most lovely man I have ever met in my life. Oh. And even my son-in-law, only today, he mentioned that to me to remind me of Ken Campbell. But the title was Ken Campbell's idea. He thought that, he was a terribly arrogant Jamaican. Hence the Jamaica. Absolutely. but we have done 20-something books like this. We have covered all the Caribbean island except St. Vincent, I think, and maybe St. Kitts. But the governments in the Caribbean have supported our projects very well. And for that, we must thank them over the years. And we are probably going to have more contracts next year after the system we have is eased up, because the governments are telling me they need to continue to promote tourism, because, there's nowhere, if you want to have what you call a holiday and meet lovely people, you can't go anywhere else but the Caribbean.
That's
I'm sorry about all my friends who come from all these other places, but you have to go to the Caribbean. And as for the cooking, I mean, you can't beat our people cooking and so on. Excellent. And that comes because of our mixed identity. You have a touch of African, you have a touch of Indian, you have a touch of Chinese, you have a touch of a native West Indian. And when you put that together, you get a pepper pot of decent food. You get you really get a cook-up. I must say this. There's one thing that I always enjoyed in my life. When I go to, especially Jamaica, and I can go with my colleagues to the street corner and meet up the guy who's selling fried fish and roast corn. And most of the time, instead of eating the fancy food that the hotels provide for me, I will eat local.
Never said.
So anyone who visits the Caribbean and on holidays next year, when all of this is sorted out, go and make sure you support the street buyers. It's always well prepared. Everything is very tidy, and taste-wise, you can't produce it.
You can't fault it. You can't fault it. Arif, we have to round up. I could talk to you all night, but I've got other guests. Do you see what you do? You always talk to me.
Hold it. Don't tell me you brought me on this program with other guests. I thought you said I was important enough to have the whole program.
You came
I thought I could have bored your audience enough so they will all turn the television off.
You came up first. You are a treasure. You are a treasure. What we need to do now, we need to get a website address going up for people to find out more about all the books, where they can purchase them. So let's get a website address going on.
It's info, INFO, at hansib.publications.com. And it's HANSIB publications, plural.com. Info at hansibpublications.com. And all our titles are there, but they're also on Amazon. So if anyone genuinely wants to buy it, there's no reason why they can't get it. Hansib, all our titles are on Amazon.
Thank you, Arif. I should be calling you Sir Arif. Thank you ever so much.
No, just Arif, who like to eat local.
Yes. Arif, take care of yourself. We no doubt will talk again.
Fond regards to all of you, and tell Emerson, please stop twisting my arm for these programs. Thank you very much.
Arif. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, what a great man, and what great achievement with Hansib Publications. You can't go wrong with that. You really can't. We need to take a wee break now. We're going to be back in a flash of a pan. Hi, and welcome back. Right, it's good to hear some good news. It's good to hear about some positive things going on through these dark times. And once again, we're down in another kind of a little bit of a semi-lockdown, if you will, but needs must, I guess. So we're now going to be looking at something connected with this, if you will, because we're talking about a report that was commissioned by the Labour Party and the leader, Sir Keir Starmer, who put Baroness Doreen Lawrence at the head of this to look into COVID-19 and the impact on the BAME communities. We heard so many of our own people died, whether they were working within the NHS frontline, whether they were on London Transport or what have you. And certain things that came about that, inequalities, certain things in life and your socioeconomics. And there's a lot for me to say, and it's not ready for me to say because I've got a bunch of people here that's going to be talking a bit more about the findings. So let us get them on board now. So join in with me. Who do we have first as I do the first introduction? Who have we got? Norman Basigu. How are you, Norman? I'm calling you our roving reporter. I'm calling lifestyle that knows what's going on.
Sure.
And can give us an insight as well. Thank you, Norman.
Yeah.
What have we got on the panel? We've got the former Chief Inspector Leroy Logan of the Metropolitan Police Force. We did have Mr. Logan before talking about a very similar thing, which I'm going to grab onto, and this is about still being, 9 times more likely to be started being a black person. So we're going to talk about that in a moment. Thank you, Leroy, for joining us. Do we have the legal eagle? Jennifer, oh, yeah, we have John Daniel Saba, a brilliant youth mentoring group, absolutely for the youth in Britain. Thank you, John. Do we have our legal eagle now? Jenny, thank you, Jennifer Obaseki. Thank you for joining us. Now, this report, Sir Keir Starmer wanted to look into, oh my gosh, Patrick Vernon, you know what? Oh, slap me down, Patrick Vernon. I'm sorry about that. Patrick Vernon, how are you? Patrick Vernon.
Yeah, thank you very much, yeah.
Social commentator, of course, sorry. Thank you all for joining us. Now, let's look at this. Patrick, I know very much so that you was, first of all, to tell us about this this inquiry that was going to happen and looking into certain things to do with COVID-19 and the BAME community. The findings have come out. There's so much to it. But can you then give us a step by, let's make it quite easy and plain for the viewers to understand this. It's looking at the impact of COVID-19 on the BAME community. Talk in a simplified thing. Give us the briefing on that.
Yeah, sure. So Doreen Lawrence did the review, which is She was commissioned by Keir Starmer as she's a race advisor to Keir Starmer, and I actually gave some evidence towards the review itself. The review is actually it's quite comprehensive. The report is done firstly the analysis, the problems around COVID-19, particularly identifying the disproportionality and the impact on Black and ethnic minority communities, and then but the key thing is the recommendation. So at the heart of the recommendations is that structural racism is a key factor as was leading to why so many Black and Asian people have died of COVID-19. And their key recommendation is if Labour came into power, there would be a Race Equality Act, which would focus on tackling issues of structural racism in British society. The rest of the recommendations, there are about 20 recommendations, are covering the short term in terms of the immediate response to COVID-19, especially now that we've got this lockdown, in terms of targeted strategies to support Black and minority communities. There's recommendations to educational attainment. I'm sure Leroy will talk about the whole stuff around policing, but there's recommendations around medium, long-term structural racism as well, in terms of reviewing and also better ethnic data collection. So it's actually quite a comprehensive recommendation that Doreen has made. I mean, obviously, I would prefer that there was a public inquiry. A lot of us want to have a public inquiry because reviews are important. But we now know that there have been so many reviews covering different aspects of Black life in Britain, and half these reviews are not taken seriously or fully implemented. Even the latest review done by Wendy Williams on the Windrush scandal, and it's unusual for someone like Wendy, a respected civil servant, to actually go on record to say that the government's not taking it seriously. So the review that Doreen's done is important. It's in many ways, it might form part of a manifesto for a potential general election, but there are some immediate things that can be done right now, and I think it's important that people read the report, and we can start using that to lobby local councils, local MPs, people working in the NHS as well.
Can be done afterwards. It's all well and good with the findings and coming out and stating what it is. What can be done about it? This point I'm going to bring in Leroy, Logan. Leroy, talk to me. Part of it is inequalities, part of it discrimination, and what have you. Discrimination, 9 times a Black person is stopped than their white counterpart. This is still going on. The Macpherson report, all those years ago, spoke about it anyway. Nothing's happened. How can this report and the finding do something properly now, Leroy?
Well, one of the difference about the Macpherson report around institutional racism is that you have political will. You had the Labour Party coming in 1997. They promised the Lawrences there would be an inquiry, a political inquiry with legislative teeth. And that report I was involved in. I gave evidence as one of the BPA members to say that the Met Police was institutionally racist. And as a result of that, we ensured that those recommendations were being monitored. And one of the ways of doing that, Jack Straw, who was the Home Secretary at the time, took ownership with the Stephen Lawrence steering group. They were the independent oversight to ensure that chief constables and the commissioner ensured that those performance indicators were kept under scrutiny, as I said, got measured and was done. Now, for the first 10 years from the report publication in February 1999 to 2009, you had that independent oversight with the Stephen Lawrence steering group. Tory government comes in 2010, you then get austerity, and there's a pushback on race and equality issues. And then you start getting commissioners' comments quite recently. Institutional racism is no longer needed. We're no longer institutional racist. Well, I've got news for the commissioner. It's not for her to say. It can only be through another inquiry. And we know that Home Affairs Select Committee in late 2019, chaired by Yvette Cooper, was looking at that, but unfortunately the election and then COVID had stalled it. And we're still waiting for that. Home Affairs Select Committee to come back and make it clear. But as long as you have an unaccountable commissioner and the other chief constables marking their own homework around those performance indicators, saying all is well and they're no longer institutional racist, you won't get back to the improvements we saw with the Met and other constabularies. Because during that 1999 to 2009 gap, we saw improvements in stop and search being more intelligence-led. We saw a more reflective organization from 2% Black and minority ethnic to 12%, and everything's leveled off. So the look and feel of policing is like a pre-McPherson era. For me, it's sad to say, but it's gone back 20 years because the last 10 years of austerity and this enforcement-driven, institutionally racist organization. And having spent 30 years in it, I know when I see officers in denial and it's coming from the top. Cressida Dick right across.
Yeah. Baroness Lawrence has asked for ministers, other parties as well. It's not just dealing with Labour. She's asked for the other parties as well, the government, the Conservative Party and other, the Liberals of the world. Every one of us look into it, and let's try and see what we can, put some legislation in place to tackle a rise also in racism, but hate crime and things like that. So she's saying she wants everybody to get involved, not just about Labour, but it's just about all the parties that are looking into it. And maybe the government that's here now can start putting in some sort of legislation. Talking about legal eagle, let's talk to Jenny Obaseki. How can you and your governing body, Black Lawyers Society, even grab on hold of this and try and see what you can do to make changes, lobby, whatever you want to do, but to make changes in the law when it comes to discrimination, particularly in stop and search or stop and question, whoever they want to call it. You muted.
Thank you. Sorry. Sadly, during the lockdown, we've seen that Black people are more disproportionately stopped and fined. And, we have these policies put in place, but there hardly ever is any equality impact assessments. Right now, we're going to go into another lockdown within the London region around Thursday, we're told. And what does that mean for extended family members? Does that mean that that person is one too many out of your 6 from your household? If you're in an unusual family structure and it's not a directly narrated family member, so it's your cousin who you normally go and stay with, is that person not within the definition of family? Basically, I do agree with Mr. Logan in the sense that things have gone backwards. We have so many roundtables, so many reports, even now, yet another review, but we don't have any legislative teeth to put these recommendations in place and then any equality impact or reviews afterwards to make sure that they're taking effect, the positive effect that's needed in our community. Instead, what we have is a void, and that void in legislation and that void in policy, actual policy that's backed up, means that the community will continue to suffer adverse effect. That means that despite there being all these reviews, recommendations, reports, and it can be seen that the BAME community is negatively impacted in disproportionate proportions. I mean, not only do we suffer at the health level, not only do we suffer at the frontline worker level, as you've quite mentioned, but when it also comes down to the initiatives that are put in place to help us, less of us are getting the grants. Less of us that are self-employed or on the 0 contract hours actually qualify for the support that's in place. Again, because of the fact that the communication is not always filtered down, many people don't know what they're entitled to. It can be seen from this report now that we are much more adversely affected than anybody would even think of. But what is the government going to do about it? Are they going to pass legislation? We've had the word there that if Labour came into power, there would be a change. There would be proper legislation in place. We could have 100 roundtables from the Law Society, from the Society of Black Lawyers, from the British Nigerian Law Forum, the British Nigerian Lawyers Forum, or from the Asian lawyer groups. But what change will it make? Will we produce anything that they don't know? No, they know. They've got the reports, they've got the reviews. So now it's about having a cross-party discussion on legislation, having proper legislation that actually protects us, where we can go to used to hold people to account. It's needed, it's necessary. The Law Society, in direct answer to your question, does have a lot of round table talks on different areas. We've recently had to quell the suggestion of having solicitors who have higher rights. They were going to do another assessment as to how solicitors qualify in that arena. And a large proportion of the solicitors who work in that arena are from the BAME background. And their new assessment was actually going to possibly reduce the number of lawyers who qualify in that arena. And anybody will tell you that a lawyer that best represents you is somebody who has a better understanding of your situation. So that was reviewed. But when it comes down to the effect within the community and how this particular disease that's coming through us, the pandemic, how it adversely affects us, how we can better protect our community, it's going to come down to the law. And unless there's changes, unless there's a cross-party discussion, urgent action, I don't see change happening very soon.
Let's move on to John. Thank you ever so much, Jennifer, for that. John, you work with young people. You've always done it for decades now. This COVID has actually impacted on young people quite negatively in terms of mental issues.
Yeah, definitely.
And also, police are still harassing our youths. What can your organization do? What do you think you can do?
Well, okay, so on the ground, we know that young people, in terms of how they see their future, you know, a lot of young people kind of losing hope. What is it all about, you know, in terms of the lockdown with education? A lot of young people kind of gave up after March and didn't even bother to go back, you know, when the schools or education institutions reopened. In terms of employment, the areas of employment they were able to get, you know, 0-hour contracts on the lowest scale. So they're always the first to get kind of kicked out. You got a situation that a lot of them are tempted by, you know, a lot of negative things. So when they look at a negative opportunity against what is available to them, they weigh it up and say, well, I can make what I make doing this deal in a day. It takes me a month to do it in another way. However, this is how I look at it. Maybe a bit controversial, but I was born here, grew up in Jamaica, came here in 1980. In 81, we had the Brixton riots, followed by riots in Tottenham, riots up until, I think it was 2012, riots in before I came. And who here on this panel is surprised by the findings? I guess no one's surprised, okay? And my view now is this, that whatever legislation happened, we gotta figure out what we can do for ourselves. And it's a saying that's been said many times, but if 40 years ago, we decided to take a route that gives ourselves more power and puts us in a position where we tell those in power, you're not going to get our support unless you look after our needs. You know, we didn't do that. 40 years on from 1980, from I came back to this country, here we are. My thinking now is that we have to look at a way as not what the government can do for us, but what can we do for ourselves? It's not in their interest to help us. They're not, you know, they're not going to benefit. And those who have power ain't going to give it up. So to me, there's no point continuing to be looking, oh, what can you do for me? It's what can we do for ourselves? And
what can we do, John, as a collective?
All right, let me give you what I'm doing, okay? So I have a network, okay? And I've been doing my thing with regards to cyber for about 20 years. And what this network does, it looks at how people can create ideas and access support to develop those ideas for both the community and both to access and grow capital Okay, so we can start to have some economic power. Now, I'm just one organization. I have over 500 members in this network. But what it does, it looks at what can we do economically? Because if you look at other communities, I won't get us into any trouble with this. Some communities, you know, once you start to say, once they feel that they're being disrespected, you know what? The politicians pull their finger out and they make sure that their situation looked after. What happens with us? We march and we, you know, riot and with this and with that, and they throw out a little few crumbs. Here's your CBE, here's your this, your that. And then a few months after, it's back to normal. It doesn't work. Always madness. Madness when you do the same thing, you do it again and you expect a different result.
Right.
It doesn't work.
I hear that one. I hear
that.
there's a lot more you've got to say, and I think I'm going to have you separate. You've got a lot to say, and I hear what you're saying. You've given us the gist of it. I need to bring in Norman at this point. This is a young person. He goes around the computer. He knows a lot, and he's one of our correspondents as well. Norman, what are you what are you feeling out there? What are your peer group telling you? How are they feeling?
All right. So first of all, good evening, everybody. My name is Norman. Pam, thanks for introducing me. And in terms of what's going on, so building off what everybody has spoken about on this panel so far, talking about structural issues that exist in society, so be that structural racism, inequity of opportunity, financial issues. There's something that Jennifer and John and everyone has really touched upon, sort of the effect in our community, that I really want to touch upon and take this conversation into a new sort of angle. And that's talking about mental health and what's really happening in that context. Now, I think we can all agree the events of 2020 really brought mental health to the forefront, especially us being in lockdown and the increasing push towards mindfulness, the fact that we're all trapped in our four walls. So be it working from home or not being able to go out during March to around June when we're all trapped in our homes, as it were. And when we look at events specific to the Black community, let's say Black Lives Matter, AIM deaths due to COVID and NSARS in Nigeria just last week, I think the collective sort of Black psyche, as it were, has really been shaken a lot this year. And I think a lot of people can agree with me on this, that stress and the trauma, the death, the pain that's been caused, I think people are a lot more aware of what's going on in terms of their mindfulness and within that respect. And so I think COVID, we have to be very careful here, and that COVID is giving rise to a new host of potential mental health issues in the Black community. And this is layered upon the pre-existing issues within our community with respect to mental health. And if I have a minute or two, I'd like to really just flesh out some stats and data really highlighting the issues that exist in the Black community and why there is ground to argue that there is poor mental health literacy in our communities and what we need to do. So starting off with some stats. So in 2011, according to data from the Office for National Statistics, in 2011, among the 56 million residents in England and Wales, 86% were white and 3% were Black, so African, Caribbean or Black British. So despite being 3%, we are very likely to suffer a mental health issue. So according to data from the DHSC in 2018, Black women are more likely to have a common mental health disorder than their white counterparts. And the risk of psychosis in Black Caribbean groups is estimated to be 7 times higher than that in the white population. So clearly there's an issue in the Black community. And I've just given you some data there to really highlight that when you compound this with what's happening with COVID, and we have, again, inequity of opportunity, stop and search, financial issues, and just the structural issues that we spoke about, or the panelists have raised just previously, we really need to pay attention to mental health. And John touched upon this, the idea that there's no jobs in the market. It's hard to get a start. The market was difficult prior to, so I'm a graduate of 3 years, going into working in the legal industry currently. And it's you know, I had a conversation with some recruiters the other day, and they're just saying that it's a really tough situation right now. And, you know, I think we really have to put a bigger conversation on mental health and what needs to be done. Is there enough in our communities with respect to access to support for the Black communities regarding mental health? You can argue both ways. On the one hand, yes, organizations like Black Thrive and Rainbow Haven exist. But on the other hand, no. If you look at language barriers that might exist between, let's say, asylum seekers and refugees and migrants and service providers, if you look at potential cultural insensitivity displayed by the service providers, so the inability to understand the Black experience or things of that nature, it might make it difficult for people in the Black community to actually seek the help with respect to mental illness or their issues. So I'm going to cut myself off there, but hopefully that mental awareness or mental health dimension to this conversation gives you a feel of what's going on. It's not a pretty sight right now. And for young people, not to generalize, but from my experiences and people that I know, it's not easy right now. And there's a lot of emphasis on sort of learning new skills. Pick up coding, pick up tech, if you can in your free time, if you're not employed currently.
I think that was so eloquently said and done. Thank you ever so much, Norman. What we are going to be doing in the lifestyle show, we are going to be sort of really going into depth with mental health issues, and particularly with our young. And we have touched on it before, but as you said, we're just on the surface. So we're going to be continuing doing that as the weeks and months go on. This is now another lockdown. This is now where we have to be very careful with our not only our elderly ones, our loved ones, but also the young. We have to keep focus on them as well. We have to run. We've run out of time, you guys. Whoa, what can I say? I don't know. I'm going to do this. Only the reason I'm going to do this is I'm going to do this one thing, and I'm going to have to just select and choose and say to end it all and to get more insight of where we can get more information about this. I need to have Patrick Vernon talk to us. Just end it by saying where can we get more information about the report findings and where we go from here.
So in terms of Dora and Long's report, it's on the Labour Party website. It's been covered quite nationally in the media. And touch on the last point about mental health. I'm working with Ubele, Nasfiat and Batan, and we are developing a bereavement mental health service for those people who've died of COVID-19 as well. And also we did so there's a lot of work happening on the ground around mental health. And I think this is one of the impacts of COVID-19, which I think we need more time to explore. But if you want to get a hold of me, I'm on all social media platforms, on my website, patrickvernon.org.uk.
Thank you so much. Everybody, can we get a briefing? Quickly give us your social media details. Leroy?
Yeah, I'm nl@leroylogan.com and on Twitter.
Thank you, Leroy. Thank you ever so much. Jennifer? Jennifer? Is she gone? Okay, let's go with Norman.
So you can find me on Instagram under this name, @NormanBesigu, all one word, lowercase.
Excellent. And last but not least, John Downey of Saba.
Check my logos, either saba.co.uk or ukunsigned.org.uk. You check out any of them, you'll find me.
You lot are moving the show because we need a whole 2 hours to talk about these things. That's what we really need, if not a whole hour. So I'm really sorry you got your bits in, but not enough. I know this, but take care, stay safe. We will come back to you guys because we need to hear from you lot. We ready to? Jennifer, give us solutions. Jenny?
Yes, just quickly, remember there was the asylum seeker that died from starvation. There's an increase in domestic violence. If you need help, reach out. If you just want to talk, call Samaritans. But you can always contact us at www.obasitysolicitors.com, and you can get a free consultation. You can also get access to legal aid. If you need help, please ask. Do not suffer in silence.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you all. Stay safe, you all, and be blessed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Oh my gosh, you could do the whole show could do this. Oh my gosh, I could do a separate show, I could do a news program. No, but we've got to move on. So we're going to take a quick break, quickie. Welcome back. This is so interesting. This is so good. We got good and bad. It's all mixed up, but it's still good. We're still positive. We're still going there. We're still making sure we carry on. And that's what we have to do. So let's lighten up the mood a bit, shall we? Let me introduce you to a lady by the name of Natasha Edwards. Now, Natasha, we all know we have to wear, you know what I mean, the masks and things going on, but let's do this Caribbean style. These are handcrafted things that looking like the business here. And I'd like to ask Natasha, where is mine? But anyway, Natasha Edwards, let's have you.
Hello, how are you, Pam? Yours is in the post. Yours is in the post.
Thank you. Oh, lovely to have you, Natasha. Lovely to have you. Now,
Thank you.
You know what? these times,
Yeah.
nobody would think this time last year we could be thinking about where, let's make some masks. But
I know.
and we have to do this. So before we go on about your unique Caribbean style handcrafted mask, let's talk a bit about you. So talk to us about Natasha Edwards.
Okay, so basically, I started the business 3 years ago. It originated from me writing a book about my children, and I wanted feedback on that book. So I went and hired a market stall to get feedback. But I thought I should take some items to sell so I could make some money at the same time. So when I got the feedback, I actually realized that I was making quite a lot of money from selling jewelry. So that is how I started the business. And from there, it just evolved. And then I look at different trends and I just offer the customers whatever they need, basically.
When you say the jewelry, were they sort of like, African sort of looking ethnic?
Okay, so basically, I started with costume jewelry. And because I just didn't feel that there was enough longevity in the jewelry, I decided to go to African fabric, stainless steel, and beaded jewelry, so we were getting more value for money.
Yes, I see it there. So the artistry there, you're picking it, you're asking permission that you can use.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Basically, I like to pick ethnic pictures because we're not represented that much. So I like to represent myself. So I like to choose pictures that reflect us. I get permission and then I go away, source different suppliers, and then I roll out the goods.
You roll out the goods. I like the way you roll out.
Yeah. It's supply and demand.
Yes, supply and demand, but it's hard work, isn't it? Because
definitely,
once the demand is there, you really have to work. What's your team like? Have you got a team?
Basically, I do not have a team. I just rope in my family and my friends as and when needed. So I launched online in March, which was actually fabulous. I didn't plan it to be like that, but it just happened, and it happened to coincide with the pandemic. So it was actually perfect that I managed to get online, and my sister actually helped me with that. She actually entered all the items onto the website and did everything for me because I kept prolonging it year after year. And she's like, no, we need to get it done. Done is better than perfect, because we went on a course together. It was a small business course, and the mentor always says, done is better than perfect. You don't want to wait for perfection and wait 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, because it's not exactly like how you want it to be. You need to just roll it out and tweak things as and when you need to. And my sister helped me with that. My children help me. My partner helps me. Friends and family, they all come and help me when I need. But I do need to look at having a team and actually somebody to mentor me.
Okay, I don't think you need mentor. I think someone's going to. You need to be other people. You sound so positive. Let's talk about you being a mentor, mate.
I do. I need a mentor to teach me how to let go and delegate more. That's what I need a mentor for. Yeah.
They like to do everything themselves. You want to get the job done yourself. We have that kind of mentality in us, don't we?
Yes. But you can't do everything. You can't do everything. You have to delegate. You have to.
Yeah, you have to. And it's nice that you have your fam there like that. Yeah, it's rather wonderful. So this is good. So moving on from the sort of costume jewelry and very much ethnic looks and African. So then, yes, this thing happened. Nobody foresaw this at the beginning of the year. Now, at what point earlier this year did you just say, hold on a minute, masks, let me do my stuff?
I actually was listening to the news, and also I looked at other countries where the pandemic was actually there before it came to us, and I thought, what are they doing? So I looked at the trend and I thought, well, look, they're having masks. We're going to have masks as well. So I thought, let me just jump onto that and add it with what I actually sell already and put in the twist of Caribbean and African flags, because that's what I actually specialize in. And as I did that, it was a winner. I thought to myself, I've been very lucky to actually come up with the idea and roll it out, because, with the way business is nowadays, it's a big struggle. But that actually tided me over. So it's brilliant, to be honest.
And let's have a look at some of these, what we're talking about, because the Caribbean, look at that. Oh my gosh, absolutely. So what happens? How do people then get on to order, if you will, their flag?
Okay.
Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
Yeah, see, I do modeling as well. See, jack of
I
all
can see that.
trades. Basically, if you would like to purchase, I've got a website, and it is www.tashaschicboutique.com.
Right.
All parcels get delivered within 3 to 7 working days, and they're all signed for, so you actually receive the goods that you've ordered.
Okay. So, all right. So it happens that they go on the website, they select their chosen sort of like, if you're like flag country. Now, minimum orders or
no, you can order 1, you can order 100. It's totally up to you. There's no minimum order, and all costs on the website include postage and packaging. So you don't need to worry about getting to checkout and then they've added on an extra £4 or £5. No, everything is included in the one price.
You know, I think this is so grand, right? Because I'm going to say this now. Look, we had a shortage. You're right. Even in England here, March, April, there was this lack of PPEs and there was no masks.
Yes.
For the NHS. But everybody went on the bandwagon and watching all the news programs going on, you know, Natasha, there was something about this person doing this and this person doing this. And I was thinking to myself, you know, it's all well and good, you know, but I did wonder, when are we going to start seeing that sort of individualized and really, you know, proper like this thing going on? And I think you just hit on it by doing it like that to represent who you are and you know your heritage. And I think that's wonderful that you had that.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Because you have to do them with their different flags. So how long does it take for you to do each mask?
I actually do not sew. I don't sew. So I actually delegate that to somebody who can sew. I wish I could, but then that means I would have to do all the sewing. So I actually have somebody who makes it for me, and it takes them around half an hour, 45 minutes to do one mask. They're really, really quick. They actually make them in Brixton for me, and they make African fabric masks for me as well. So, you know, they're perfect. So they're locally made also.
And they're locally made also. So again, wonderful. And you've gathered all the African flags. You've gathered all the Caribbean flags. Do you have European ones at all there?
No, not at the moment. It's in the it's been discussed. It's been discussed, but at the end of the day, I need to actually commit and order large quantities for the lady to make so it's worth her while. So I don't want to invest if I know that I cannot actually move the items. So you know, I don't want to take on something that, you know, I can't actually sell.
So you are extremely busy, and the demand is really rather strong, and we need people to understand that. Now, when you say about you would like to have a team, you would like to have a team. Are you actually saying to the world, if anyone's interested in joining your team, are you actually saying that then?
Definitely, yes. I definitely need someone to join my team for IT, because I try, but I'm not an IT specialist, and I spend a lot of time looking at YouTube trying to figure out how to do things. Whereas if I had an IT specialist, they could just do that for me so quickly, and that would free up my time to do something else. I would like somebody to actually mentor me. That's another thing. And also I would like to recruit some models, because, you know, even though I love modeling my items, I would like people to see it on different shapes, different physiques than myself, and just see a different face. So I would like models too.
So we've got these 3 things going on. This is the lifestyle recruitment agency here. So we've got IT needed, we've got a mentor needed, and we need going on. Go again with that on the screen underneath us. You can see Natasha's details there. Here you go. Bush. Bye. There you are.
If anybody's interested, just contact me.
Well, contact you. It's all there. We can do that when you're going to say it. But let's get to the more important part of it all. Where's me St. Lucian mask?
What you need to do is just drop your details to me, in the inbox, and I'll drop it in the post for you tomorrow, and you will have it by Thursday, Friday, the latest.
Never said.
And would you like the light solution or the dark solution? You see, you've got a choice. We have the dark blue or we have the light blue.
Hold on a minute. Hold on one second. I'm rather special.
Yeah.
Can I not have both?
Both, that's what I was going to say. Or would you like them both? Yes,
I want them both.
It. Yeah, no, that's perfect. Definitely, that'll be in the post for you tomorrow. Without a doubt. But I also specialize in stainless steel jewelry and beaded jewelry. I also have T-shirts, empowerment T-shirts, compact mirrors, cufflinks. What else? Wooden earrings. So I have an array of things. Anything to do with the Caribbean or Africa, you will find it on my website.
Yeah, you're very much powerful there with your.
Yes, I don't. It just happened that way, but it's working for me, so I'm not going to change it.
And actually throw a yellow Black Queen T-shirt in the post too. Right.
Yeah,
now.
You don't need to tell me the size. I'll just guess that. Yeah. You're having a good shopping spree, aren't you?
I can wear it on the show.
Yeah, I was going to, but I thought, how many things can I showcase? Maybe when I come on next time, I can wear something else.
Maybe you come on next time. My bits and I'll on the show. No problem.
Yes, definitely.
One more time, Tasha. Let's get your website, contact details, all your social media going on.
Okay. Basically, my website is www.tashaschicboutique.com. My Instagram is Tasha Chic Boutique, and so is my Facebook, Tasha Chic Boutique. You can find me there. You can send me messages. You can talk to me, ask questions, because I do have quite a lot of knowledge, even though I say I don't. So if you need any help with anything, you can reach out to me. Or if you think that you can help me in any way, you can reach out to me too.
Excellent. Natasha Edwards, I love your vibes. You are stronger than you think. You are stronger than you think, I'm telling you. You're very powerful.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. I love you and bless you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Pam. Thanks for having me. Take care. Bye. Yes, I will. You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Wow. Talented lady, gifted lady, and she's got it, You got it. Keep it up. I tell you, keep trucking. Right. A small break. Back in a second. Here we go. It's when we relax a little bit and put our feet up. We're going to go into the world of entertainment with the only one, the Dark Persuader. Anthony Jordan, are you with me?
I love that. I should have had a James Bond theme for that. That felt it. I should have gone with a Persuader, Dark Persuader. But R.I.P. Sean. But no, it's there.
You've got a big one. I believe you. Very quickly. Okay. We're going to talk later.
Okay, cool. Catch you in a bit. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Entertainment Corner with me, Anthony Jordan. Right, we do have a packed show. I'm about to introduce this guest. If, like myself, you've been on the Instagram, you would have seen this video, which had me in stitches. It just gives you the vibe of who this man is. So I'll introduce the video, then I'll introduce the gentleman. This is In My Bed. Let's see if you've heard this one.
Tony, baby in my bed, all the new dads out there, this one's for you. Alright, shout to the new mums too, I guess. Yo, I got kicked out my bed like I'm in the doghouse. Ever since my son came, I've been living on the couch. Now I'm slouching, back problems. And my missus said my son's more important. Told her we should send him back to his room. She said I would if I could, but I think it's too soon. He just keeps coming back anyways. 2 a.m. I got 2 feet in my face. Enough is enough. First thing in the morning, I'm changing the locks. You can stay in your cot, little man. If you wake up crying, better lay back down. Can't even go on like you're hungry. This boy eats all day, got the munchies. Taking food off my plate, fills his tummy. Then he's trying to take my bed, trying to bump me. Am I a mug or son? That's what I'm thinking in my head. Look, how come he gets to stay in the bed when I'm the one paying his rent? Trying to get me vexed now, and it's hurting. It's playing his mum and it's working. Wedged in the middle of me and my woman turn around. I saw his little face smirking in my bed. In my bed. There's a baby in my bed. In my bed. Baby in my bed. In my bed. There's a baby in my bed. In my bed. TonyAsOfficial.com. As official.
Right, so that was the thing that caught the humor, and thankfully the connection was made. So you heard the name at the end of the video. It's my honor and pleasure to introduce Mr. Tony Az.
Yes.
Hey,
good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you so much for having me, Tony. How's it going? How's everyone?
Good. We're all good. We're all good. Happy to have you. So, as I said, it gives the kind of humor and the style that is Tony Az, the rapper who loves to sing. So, I've got to kick it off with this. Where did your passion for music come in? When did you start making music?
I've been making music a while. It evolved from poetry, to be fair. And I'm not the most outspoken type of person, so poetry was my way of expressing myself, and then the poetry naturally just evolved into rapping and singing. I've always liked melodies and things like that, but it really just started as a way of me just expressing myself, really, and doing it as a personal thing. And then slowly but surely you start jumping on stage and start getting into the studio and recording things, and over the years it's evolved into what you're witnessing now.
Cool, big stuff. So it was really interesting. Just a couple of weeks ago, we had a spoken word artist onto there, and it is one of those things that really do help people find a way of expressing themselves, which I think is absolutely great, especially in this current climate. When was it that you then decided that, you know what, we've got this flow going on, let's put it to a beat and then just become a musician? What gave you that encouragement to become from poet to artist?
It was just, I guess, music allows you to take it somewhere else. So if you just imagine that just as a poet, there's no music, you have to kind of find your own rhythm, and you know what I mean? There's beauty in that itself. But then I guess I'd always been a fan of music. So at some point you just find yourself reciting your words to a beat, and the rhythm kind of catches you and you're like, okay. And then it adds another dimension to it, because as music listeners, you know, sometimes it might be the words that captivate you, or sometimes it might be the rhythm and the beat, and then later on you might come back and check out the words. So slowly but surely, as I started migrating onto music, I found that I was being opened up to a bigger audience per se. Do you know what I mean? So it was almost like, okay, I'd have people that it might be the music that catches your attention initially, and then you start to listen to what I'm saying and you're like, oh, actually he's saying something kind of interesting. So I kind of had the best of both worlds that way. And like I say, always been a fan of music and rhythm and melody and things like that. So it felt like a natural progression.
Fantastic. I love that. So I've been scoping the internet, you know, once you see people, as I said, that's how I saw you, saw the Instagram, we made the connection. Also had a look on your YouTube. So from doing this thing, as you said, you were quite a quiet person. You started to make the poetry and the music, and then you're starting to hit the thousands in terms of numbers and reach into your music and your work. How was that experience for you?
Oh man, it's very humbling, because you start off by just being just being my own personal expression, like things that are bothering me, things I'm going through, etc., and you just start jotting it down. So it starts off very personal, and then as it progresses and as it grows, more and more people are hearing it, and then you find out, okay, this thing or these things that you're experiencing, they're not just unique to you. Like there's he's going through it, she's going through it, and you're like, oh, and then you kind of have that little solidarity, that kind of bond going on, and it kind of endears you to other people, I guess, and it just opens up your network, and it just, the beauty of it, you just get to meet people. And like I say, well, this is a classic example from the In My Bed scenario where I'm talking about, you know, my son kicking me out of bed and me not being able to be in my bed. The response has just been amazing, and here I am today speaking to you. So it's been really like, and again, those are things that, because the first time I did the song and I just showed it to a mate of mine who's also a dad, and he just found it hilarious, and I just thought, okay, so it's not just me going through this thing, and then that's where it's just evolved into what it is now.
Do you know what? My brother is a new dad at the same time. Well, it's about a year now. And he's been telling me those stories. And like the weekend when the baby goes to visit grandma, and he's like, bro, I've got my bed back. So I heard the lyrics. And
the little things make such a difference, just like my bed. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's the beauty of music. That's the beauty of art as well. And like I say, it starts off very personal, but then you realize that, hey, there's a lot of people going through the same scenario that you're experiencing right now. So I'm just articulating it for all of us, I guess.
No, that's brilliant. And just another thing that I've always been asking most artists in this current climate, you know, we're just about to go into lockdown. How have you found that experience for yourself in order to get your music out there to the world? Has it helped? Has it been a hindrance? Which way would it be for you?
It's ironically, I've been most productive in the last 6 months since lockdown than I was probably in the last year and a half, because to be honest, I was gearing up to kind of being online a little bit more just before lockdown kind of happened, because there are a few business models I was exploring, and one of them was an online musician type thing, and it just felt like naturally that's where things kind of were going, or it was something worth exploring. So I was kind of just there, and then this thing happens in March, wasn't it? It happens in March, and I'm like, okay, well, this is it. So literally in that first week, I shot like 2 videos in the front room. I've got like recording equipment and stuff at home, my own studio. So I was recording stuff, and I was just bang, 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 bang. I was just on it. So it's an interesting time, but it kind of just means we kind of have to think outside the box. And I was, like I said, I was leaning towards that. I was leaning towards more of the business side of things as well. So, which is another element to what I do. So it was like, okay, whereas I was just thinking about it, I thought, oh, that would be a good idea to do this and try this and be online a bit more. And then this thing happens, and it's like, okay, well, there's no other choice. So here we are, because I actually had a headline show in April that got cancelled because of this. So it was like, okay, this is it now. What do we do? And then we just had to figure it out. But it is a difficult time. It is a scary time for a lot of musicians, especially you have some of us who are just full-time performers, for example, and that's where you get your bread and butter money. So it's an interesting time, but the whole world's going through it. So we'll get there. We'll just got to kind of be open-minded and explore new avenues. I think this is the time.
Right. I agree. And talking of exploring new avenues, you actually have a business in place to help the up-and-coming artists develop their business and their brand. Would you like to tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, so basically it started off, again, in lockdown. I had an idea for a book for a while ago, and literally the first couple weeks of lockdown, I finished writing it. And the book is called 10 Terrible Tips. And it basically comes from the situation of understanding that as independent artists, there are a few status quos that we followed, a few concepts and ideas that we followed for a long time that, in my opinion and in my peers' opinion, haven't really got us anywhere. So I started thinking from that point of view and started understanding the business of it, because obviously we come into it as artists, but not a lot of us are thinking as a business. So I got to a point where I started thinking now as a businessman that does music or sells music, as opposed to a musician trying to be a business person. So I had to kind of switch my mind frame in that sense. And along the journey, I tend to document everything I'm doing. And again, just sharing my experiences like I did with music, I started finding that a few people were thinking the same kind of way, or the penny hadn't quite dropped when they were kind of there but not right there, and they were finding kind of motivation in the stuff I was putting out in terms of just vlogging my ideas. I've got a podcast as well, and in addition to the book. So then it kind of just evolved and is evolving still. It's still very much early days, but it's whereby in terms of any artists that want to go from, okay, I'm just an artist, quote unquote, and I want to go into establishing my own brand, my own business, then I've just got a bunch of ideas that are so far helping me, that are helping me build, and I'm just here to help whoever's about and open to the ideas.
Great, I love that. Sharing is caring. I love everything about that. Right, so we've played one video, but there is an actual full-on music video out there. As yourself as an artist, I'm going to give you the stage to introduce it.
Oh, thank you so much. So this video, guys, is called Tomorrow, and it's a song about hope, and hopefully it will bring people a bit of peace at this time with everything going on. But the song is called Tomorrow. So this song is called Tony Az, song by Tony Az called Tomorrow. Enjoy.
We're going, yeah. Where we go, we don't know yet. No. How we go, we don't know yet. No. But all we know is we're going. Yeah. We go see what's in the under. We go see what's in the under. Make we see what's in the under. Go see what's in the under. I do yesterday, tell her tomorrow. 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 We've been praying and hoping all these doors will just open. We know nothing is certain. Keep the faith and keep working. We've been praying and hoping all these doors will just open. We know nothing is certain. Keep the faith and keep working. We go see what's in the under. We go see what's in the under. Make we see what's in the under. Go see what's in the under. I do yesterday, tell her tomorrow. 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 Where we going and hoping all these doors will just where we go, we don't know yet. Nothing is certain. Keep the faith and keep how we go, we don't know yet. And open all these doors will just all we know is we're going. Nothing is certain. Yeah. Keep the faith and keep working. We go see what's in the under. See what's in the day. We go see what's in the under. See what's in the day. Make we see what's in the under. Go see what's in the under. I do yesterday, tell her tomorrow. 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 I do yesterday, tell her tomorrow.
Hey.
Tony, love the flow, love the concept, everything
Thank
about what you're
you.
doing is absolutely great. I would just like to say, keep up the good work. If anyone wanted to get in contact with you, how can they do that?
The platform I'm most active on is Instagram, so at Tony Az Official on Instagram. And that's also my website at tonyazofficial.com. So tonyasofficial.com is my website. So you can get in contact with me through there. And yeah, Instagram, and I'm just getting back onto YouTube a little bit, but Instagram, I'm there literally every day. So hit me up. Yeah, definitely do hit me up if you like any of the songs, if you like any more information. And yeah, it's been a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Tony. It's been an absolute pleasure. And when all of this madness is over, we definitely have to have you like in studio and catch up again.
Oh, that would be amazing. Yes. Thanks for that sounds brilliant. Thank you so much. That'd be really nice. Thank you so much. And good luck with everything. Uncertain times and all that, but we'll get through. We'll get through. Right. Who knows what's coming?
This is the one. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, Tony. It's been a pleasure. We'll catch up soon. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was Tony Az. Great talent there in the future. We're going to go off to a short break and then we're going to introduce some royalty. I'll catch you in a bit. Right, welcome back to the Entertainment Corner. Normally I don't do a break, but with this one I need to catch my breath because this is someone I've grown up listening to. This is close to the heart with this one. A legendary artist in the game. We should have had her last week because she reminded us all that black is our color. She always showed us love, and now she's here to reassure us that she's got the great music continuously coming. The queen of Lovers Rock, the one, the only Kofi.
Hi everybody. Hi. Oh, Anthony, it's so hi to everybody out there. Lifestyle show. Hi. Hi. It's really nice to be here. I haven't seen you. I think I saw you I think it was last year. Your mum did a really lovely show at the Holiday Inn. That's it. Bloomsbury. Yes. It was a really lovely show.
It was. So it's been a while. It's been a while, but you know what? I can't hide it. Every time I see you, there's this huge smile on my face. So,
you're so sweet. And congratulations on this really lovely, wonderful platform that we can now do interviews and things on. It was wonderful listening to Tony Az before. I like his song. That was really good. That was really nice. It's kind of jolly, and the video just reminded me of like summer, which is gone now. But such as it is. Indeed. But greetings everybody, and thanks for having me on.
Oh, thank you so much. So as I said, I mean, I don't even know where to start. We're talking about the first UK person signed to Motown, working with Stevie Wonder, Boyz II Men, Brown Sugar. Kofi, where did the passion, where did it all come from that you wanted to enter the world of music?
Oh my gosh. I actually did something about it when I was 14 years old, and we'll go back to that in a minute. But I think I knew from a very, very, very early age that I wanted to sing. Mum sent us to a drama school in Acton. I remember us taking the bus there. Luckily, it was only one bus we had to take and not had to change because we were only about 9 or 10 years old at that time. And so traveling from South London to Acton, which is in West London, I think, if I can remember. But hey, you know, kids, it was an adventure. But we really did enjoy drama school. And I was very happy about being there because it kind of taught you things that I then later used in my profession as a singer. So, you know, stage presence and how to project one's voice, and you know, but it was just all in good fun, and it was a really, really good drama school. A few stars came out of there, but but even though I enjoyed that part, I kind of knew that I wanted to sing. So I'd be involved in everything from, you know, in primary school, any little concert that was going on, I'd be first in the queue. Same thing at secondary school, jumped first, you know, in the queue. But I was 14 when I couldn't bear it no longer. And then I thought, okay, look, I have to do something now about it, but I didn't know what. I mean, why would I? Why would a 14-year-old know anything about the music industry and how to get in it? So there was a local newspaper to where we lived called the South London Press. And I thought, right, I'm going to write to them, anyone in the South London Press. Help, can you help me? You know, I've got this desire. I really want to sing. I really want to perform, but I don't know how to go about it. And it was a big, long size A4 page, 2 sides, both sides, you know, front and back, just reeled off my heart to them. And I didn't think I'd get a response, but lo and behold, I did. And the editor wrote to me and said, we loved your story so much. Do you think we could come round and, you know, like have a chat? And I said, yeah. So they came round anyway, and they did a lovely piece about me. I wish I still had my hands on it, but that was like, you know, when I was 14. So I suppose it would still be in the South London Press archives, but they took a lovely picture, and I do remember the picture. And it was me playing at the piano, my brother playing an acoustic guitar of which he could not play a note, and my little sister sitting on top of the piano. It was an upright piano, sitting on top of the piano, blowing her recorder.
Oh, love that.
So in her brownies uniform. So it was just amazing. It was just a lovely, lovely, lovely experience. And they ran the story. And it was just wonderful. It was just lovely to see your picture. I mean, you can imagine a 14-year-old and you're in the South London Press. I think that was probably my first press release before I was anything or anybody. And through that, Pauline Catlin and Karen Wheeler both went to the same school. Now, their school, unbeknown to me at the time, was just around the corner from where, you know, my school was. So they went to a school called Kingsdale, and I went to a school called Norwood Girls, literally round the corner from each other. So Pauline and Karen were already good friends in school, and so they would sing or whatever. And I think they had this idea to put a trio together, you know, a group together. And but they were looking for one more singer. So Pauline saw this story, and she got in touch with the South London Press, and the South London Press then passed her number on to me. And then I called her, and then we met after school one day, and there was a park right opposite my school, literally across the street, and there's the park. So we went over into the park and sat down. I remember it was a lovely day. We sat down and we just wanted to hear how our voices blended. And so we started singing, started harmonizing together. Instantly, we knew that, we've got a sound here. We've definitely got a sound here. So they knew some boys that were in a band called Satellites. And so we used to get together with them, and they used to rehearse just off Brixton Hill. So we'd go down there and, you know, rehearse with them, and we'd do our own songs. We would do backing vocals as well for the boys in the band as well as take lead. And then we went to, there was a studio in Brockley called Dip, and it was owned by a man called Dennis Harris. And so all of us went up there, band, the girls, everything. And, you know, like, oh, yeah, you know, we really would like to get the chance to record. So it's a very exciting moment for us. And Dennis Harris, he immediately, like, he looked at us three girls and was like, yes, there might be something quite good here. So he said, okay, look, guys, the rest of the band, you know, we'll get in touch with you to come in and record something. But first off, I'd like to hear these three girls. So he asked us to come in and do a backing vocals for an artist called T.T. Ross. Wow. And she had a song, she was working with him, and she had a song called Jealousy. And he asked us to come in and do backing vocals for her. So when you hear Jealousy by TT Ross and those very young harmonies that are behind her, that's Brown Sugar. That's Brown Sugar. And that was the first time our voices went down, you know, and were actually recorded on anything. That's the first time our voices went down on anything.
What was that experience? I mean, first of all, let's go back to the newspaper. What were your school friends' reactions like, knowing that their classmate is on the paper?
Honest truth, I don't think any of my school friends saw it, and that's the way I liked it. And honestly, that's the way I liked it. You know, it's like I just didn't want anybody to know what I was doing, including my own mum. She didn't even know. And when I had to tell her was when they wanted to come round. So now I've got to tell her, right? You know, because she's going to want to know, like, who are these strange people on my doorstep? So, so I had to tell her that and showed her the letter from the editor, and they wanted to come round. So I don't recall any of my school friends seeing that piece in the newspaper. I don't know. Most of them. I mean, no, the South London Press would have been circulated in Brixton. We lived in Clapham at the time. I was born in Brixton, but then moved to Clapham when we were about 5 or 6. Right. And I imagine, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the South London Press was always in our house, was always. And that's why I looked at it, saw it, and thought, right, I'm going to write to them, you know, asking for help. So I don't recall any of my school friends actually saying that they saw me, but Pauline did.
But there you go.
From you know, she was going to Kingsdale. Her and Karen Wheeler were going to Kingsdale. So
okay, cool. Right, and I mean that is an amazing experience. And then from there, we move on, and so Brown Sugar was there. The solo career. Award-winning, you know, the Reggae Awards come around, and here you are crowned Best Female Artist. How was that experience for you?
Well, this is years later now, so we're fast forwarding past Brown Sugar. I decided. Well, I didn't actually decide. I'd never given up on musical singing. After Brown Sugar broke up, I was just sitting down writing songs. I kind of realized that I had a flair for it, so I'm just writing, getting involved with little musical thing here, little musical, but not actually really recording. And I bumped into a guy, and he was a taxi driver, but he was a musician, and he was the lead guitarist for a band called Merger. And he said to me, he recognized me. He's like, and about the Brown Sugar days as well, like, what are you doing? You know? And I'm like, well, nothing much. And he goes, do you know a guy called Mad Professor? And I goes, yeah, I've heard of him. And he goes, yeah, he's got a recording studio called Ariwa. So he goes, well, why don't I bring you down there, introduce you? And I said, yeah, sure. So we went down there. He took me down there, introduced me to Professor. And then that's how Kofi was born. That my solo career is born now.
Yeah.
I decided to, the first song that I wanted to do was a song that I'd written for Brown Sugar called Place in the Sun. And we never got the chance to do it in Brown Sugar. So I thought this is a great opportunity to do it now. So that was the first solo single out of Ariwa. Yeah,
wow.
That's Kofi.
Okay. Amazing. And I mean, it's just been like hit for hit after that, you know, as you said, 40 years in the game. I mean, you worked with the wonders of Stevie Wonder. That wasn't the way I wanted to say it, but the likes of Stevie Wonder, Boyz II Men. What was that?
Boyz II Men. Oh, wow. Fast forward, well, from Ariwa, I was kind of headhunted because of all the good things that were happening from there. And I'd got a Best Female Vocalist two consecutive years running. which was just amazing. I was just like, why?
No, never why.
It's, you know, artists never actually really feel that they're, you know, they're always striving for better. So, you know, you'll get used to that with me, Anthony. But yeah, so obviously my name's bouncing around out there now as Kofi, which was just an amazing period for me. So Jazzy B was long doing good things with Soul to Soul. And, you know, our own Karen Wheeler got fame, got great, you know, from working with Jazzy, you know, long before Jazzy actually approached me, because Motown had long wanted to set up a subsidiary in the UK. So because Jazzy B was doing great things at that time, a phenomenal sound, which was Soul to Soul, they approached Jazzy to set up this subsidiary. So Jazzy basically went out and started headhunting the best, in his opinion, to introduce to this new label, which he had the honor of putting together for Motown. So I don't even think I'd signed my contract yet with Motown. It was still with the music solicitors and whatever, but they invited us out to do a wonderful show that they were doing in Jamaica at the time, and that was their second consecutive year, called Soul by the Sea. And in that, of course, all the Motown artists would all come out and perform. And it was at the, what's that hotel? The hotel where Rose Hall Witch, she lived just up the top there. You could see her house actually from the hotel. The Wyndham, that's it. The Wyndham Hotel in Montego Bay, Rose Hall. They were doing tours and stuff up there, but I didn't want to go up there. So there we were, this beautiful hotel, Wyndham Hotel, Montego Bay, Jamaica. I hadn't even signed my contract yet. So it was just an amazing opportunity for them to invite me as the, you know, forthcoming artist to be signed with Motown. So I went out there. I remember we had a connecting flight from Miami, and I remember we had to wait a little bit for the connecting flight to Mo Bay. And there was this very loud person talking, and I was, who is that? Looked across the waiting area where we were all waiting, all the artists, and there, of course, were the Temptations, and the loud voice was Ruffin, David Ruffin.
Wow.
Now, this was just before David Ruffin died, of course. But I think that was the last time that the Temptations, the original Temptations, were together before they started dying. David Ruffin, of course, needed to be heard. And so all the Temptations were sitting down, but he was standing up. And talking so that the entire airport could hear him. But it was after I realized who he was, his voice wasn't loud anymore. I was just like, wow.
It's David.
It's David Ruffin.
Wow.
Anyway, there they all were, Temptations, original ones before they started dying. In their lovely blue, very bright blue kind of baseball jackets with their names on it, you know, Americans.
Yeah.
And we got this flight, and we arrived, and there was Stevie Wonder. I mean, my jaw was just.
Yeah, to bring back up, I can only imagine.
I'm just, I cannot believe what I'm seeing. Stevie Wonder was just leaving because he had to leave because he had prior engagement. So he arrived a few days earlier to record his part of the concert. And then when I saw him, he was just doing a little press conference, quick conference before he had to leave. But there he was. And, you know, then of course you'd see, you know, Boys to Men, you know, just strolling about the place. Johnny Gill, as you do. Johnny Gill was singing to me in the lift, as I recall, which was quite funny. And you know, the boy that he is. Boys to Men were, you know, just lovely people. And there were all of these people there at this Motown Soul by the Sea. And I got to perform. There, and Gerald Busby was the president of Motown Records at that time. God rest him. He's since gone on to glory. And I remember him saying to Jazzy after I had performed, "Do we have the contract signed?" And Jazzy said to him, "It's underway." And Gerald Busby replied, "Let's get it done."
Nice. What? Now there you go. That's a statement. Kofi. I honestly, we needed an hour of Kofi. We needed the 2 hours.
I know. I'm going to write the book. I think I should.
I'm looking at the time like, oh my gosh, no, I can't cut Kofi, the Queen of Love as well. But
it's okay. I had an interview just a few days ago and the same thing happened. Literally, it would take a couple of shows, Anthony. It really would.
The special is coming. That is a guarantee from me and a promise. But before the special comes, there is a new video out there. We played it last week for everyone to give them a warm up that you're coming back. So before, when I say coming back, as in coming onto our screens in terms of coming back, always in hearing music, can I please allow you to introduce the video?
Indeed. People, this is my new release. It's called Reassure Me. Its official release date is the 15th of this month. We're in November now, so the 15th of November, and it will be available on all available download outlets that's out there. You can get it. It's a wonderful return back to the old school, old lovers rock school vibes, entitled Reassure Me.
Wow, amazing. Classic sound is still
Thank
there.
you
It's
so
there.
much.
I love it. Thank you so much. Kofi, time is against us.
Thank you.
Anyone who wants to hear or get in contact with you, how can they get in contact with yourself?
Fine. Just find me on Facebook, either Kofi Musician, which is a fan page. I like to call it support page, or my personal profile, which is just Kofi the Singer. Easy. Just contact me on there.
Love it. Love it. Kofi, again, apologies, but we will definitely have you back. I promise.
No problems, Anthony. Honestly, thank you for having me. It's been long overdue. We've been, I know I've been trying to get on this show for a long time. And your mum says, "It's Kofi, we need you on the show." Let's go. So it's long overdue. So I'll come back. Promise.
No problem. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, the Queen of Lovers Rock, Kofi. Thank you so
Bye,
much.
everybody.
Okay, wow, we have left the Queen of Lovers Rock, and now it's time to bring in the Queen of the Lifestyle Show, Miss Pam Joseph. How you doing, Pam? You're muted, Pam. You're muted. Pam, you're muted.
Let me unmute myself. And thank you for that wonderful introduction to myself. And I'll pay you later. So that's great. The wonderful Kofi. Listen, she's queen. You said royalty, and you gave us royalty. So absolutely fantastic to have her at last back on the show again. This is all good.
Yes.
I wanted to also, Anthony, because a few other things we didn't say earlier on, and I think we should sort of mention it a little bit. We've just heard about recently, like a week and a half ago, about the shooting dead of an American black man in Philadelphia. Once again, 2 white officers, sort of like shot numerous times. In fact, they said it was 14 shots. He had mental issues. He was yielding, if you will, a knife, but he wasn't that much of a threat when you talk about guns against knives, and there's one and there's 2 officers, and they could have wounded. Many people said they should have tasered the young man. This didn't happen. Now riots ensued, and with that, obviously protest, then riots, and then looting. But this is remarkable when you think about the elections looming like this, and then yet another shooting on, we can't say an unarmed black man, but another shooting, controversial shooting of another black man.
It's such sad time, and all I can say is, well, we will be having a bit later on. We can only pray for change. We keep hearing that we're quoting Black Lives Matter. People are saying it. They're repeating what we're saying, but are they actually actioning it? What are the words behind? What are the meaning behind the words? So, yes, a weapon, but there are other ways. We don't have to aim to kill. That's definitely the way. So
definitely. Yeah. But very quickly, we've got good news to say about the world's greatest racing driver. Who's that, Anthony? Who's that?
Big old LH, the man himself, Mr. Lewis Hamilton. Congratulations. He's a don. He has been from the minute we saw him on a circuit. I'm absolutely happy to hear that he's a great driver. Yeah, what more can I say? Well deserved. It's put a smile on my face. Also add the island of Grenada.
Staggering 92. That's one ahead of the legend from before, Michael Schumacher. So he is now dubbed the world's greatest
race driver
of all times. Of all time, sucker. Yeah, so there you go. Yeah. Lovely jubbly.
Yeah. What a time to live in. In all this madness, we still have something to celebrate.
Indeed. Okay, well, we got to round up, Anthony. No, 2 hours is just not right. We should start asking Ben Television for 3 hours.
I know. Let's make it happen. Alistair, I know you're listening. Right.
Okay. Right on. I'm gonna kick off with the some of the winners of last week's, and then this is what we've got. Marilyn Clark Cole's A Pearl in the Wilderness. Jason from Leicester.
Yep.
Tamra's from
Congratulations,
Rehab.
Jason.
Mm-hmm. To Life Foundation, we've got Carol from Stoke Newington on that score.
Congrats to you, Carol.
Dalgety, I think you've got the one for Dalgety. You got the winner last week.
Yes, I do. It's a young lady by the name of Kaz. So congratulations to you, Kaz, from South London.
There you go, South London. You see, it's all London. Oh, we got Leicester there.
Yeah.
I think they have an affinity with us because we're Londoners as well. Maybe that's what it is. It's all good. It's all good. Couple of questions now, quickly to give you. Now, don't worry about this. I didn't ask Arif Ali live in front of everyone, but I know Arif he will do anything for me. So I'm going to kick off with the first book, Jamaica Absolutely. Cool. Jamaica Absolutely. Yeah, here's the question. What is the name of Arif Ali's publishing company?
Well played. I like that one. Cool. Okay, very well played. I did have an Arif question, but I will go with the Queen of Lovers Rock there. Kofi, this will be for the Dalgety Teas hamper. How old was Kofi when she wrote to the South London newspaper? There you go. There it is. So for your chance to win that again, email lifestyleonben@hotmail.co.uk. Right.
Okay. We've got one more. We've finished Marilyn's, and we've got a couple more still of Tamara's from rehab to Life Foundation. So here's the question. What item was Natasha Edwards promoting? What was the item Natasha Edwards was promoting on the show today? I'm going to give you a little clue. Caribbean styly. How's that?
Indeed. I like that. Indeed. Right. Okay. And we've got one more. Is that it?
I think that's it because we've finished Marilyn's now.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Right, guys. So for all of them, all you have to do is once again email lifestyleonben@hotmail.co.uk. Answer to the question to the relevant prize that you want to win, and it's there for you to win. What more can I say, Pam? It's been real. I do apologize to our editing team because we've gone over again. So I'm saying my goodbyes. Indeed. So, guys, as Pam,
stay strong. Stay blessed.
See, I remembered it this week. Okay, guys, until the next one, have a great one. This is Eneeks. We're going in. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Bye.
Like a runaway, her rapping so my peace could put the guns away. I kiss her daughters and sons before the bullet strays. A cold nights and dark days, that's all she wrote. How people folding every day like the envelopes. Without love in my heart, mate, I can hardly cope. And I've been seen as a true fiend. My dream team that pulls strings like the kingpin. I'm sweet 16, I see things happen. Let me pick up the pen, bruv, and started rapping. No love in the city, mate, just fun to clapping. When the lights go wild is when you see the action. So tell me what you wanna be when you grow up. The younger version of me just wants to blow up. The older version of me just wants to dough up. The God version of me just wants my soul up. People cannot hold up. I'm trying to crack the code like the life hacker. Never think it's different once you line up your chakras. It's getting hard to focus and I've been out of practice. Cause that can be a drama when you are the leading actor. But come a long way from the mooring up his badger. I give it to you all with the feelings that I catch it. From sainthood to sinhood, this big fin. Pen skills make me breathe, then I'm going in. I'm going in. I walk with God and the best of us. And I hope the holds true for the rest of us. In love we trust, my mother revealed how the rest of the world will feel. I flip it through the pages of my struggle when I juggle for my inner vision. And my peace been patiently waiting for my decision. The irony is that we all dying for we're living. You swim with the sharks or you're dying with the fishing. I write it from my page like it's my only religion. These shots in the streets, I can feel the city breathing. These Crabs in the bucket, this is London City, but they floss and they tuck it. And people getting hungry for the chips and the nuggets. I'm living in a dream where I write the city scene, and I fight for the public. And I can't be in a stress storm, my girl is waiting. She said I should just press on with no debating. And my dad said the truth can be intimidating, so I spit my heart out without no hesitation. Speaking to God every day about my motivation, cause I don't wanna be a pro in procrastination. From each one to reach one, I teach one. Sun up to sundown, the heat comes. The same in, the same out, I say again. Pen skills make me breathe, cause I'm going in.